Welcome to the Cleaning Business Mastermind Podcast. Today's episode is part 3 of a mastermind series I've been doing with my guy, Daniel Burgos. And in this particular mastermind, he breaks down how he uses virtual assistants to pretty much help him run his entire cleaning business, from daily operations to admin to marketing. I mean, you name it, right? He has cold callers, all of that stuff, right? And he even has an HR virtual assistant. I thought that was super interesting, right? So if you have been wondering how you should use a virtual assistant, or if you need one, then this is definitely the episode for you. Let's get into the mastermind.
Let's go to this point too with VAs, man. That's another question I wanted to ask you about, because we're supposed to get into this some more, as far as kind of like how you have them helping you out, man. How did you go about doing that?
So it started in 2018. I hired an SEO professional on onlinejobs.ph. They were working with me up until last July, which he was able to, use all the revenue that we paid him and so on and so forth to build an agency, and he's doing pretty great. Then we brought it in-house to an internal SEO team last July. So that was 2018. Now, when I hired that person, I didn't know who I was hiring. I interviewed 3 or 4 people like I would a cleaner. And I have no idea what SEO is and everything that entails, and off-site, off-page SEO, on-page SEO, blogs, site maps, all of that stuff. Had no idea. I just knew that if I wanted to get on the Google algorithm and be ranked high locally, I needed SEO. That's all I knew. So I said, all right, let me just shoot a dart, try to hire somebody, and they're going to stay with me forever. That was my mindset. So in 2018, they stayed with me until 2024. They did so many citations for us, so many on-page SEO strategies and white glove strategies. They were able to rank us. We have an authority score of like 21, which is not phenomenal. But in the cleaning space here, there's the biggest companies here in Connecticut, only 2 of them are above us. So the fact that we're even in that ballpark, and we're probably going to, in the next 3 months, we'll be at like 25 to 29. So most people won't know what that means. It's an authority score for your website. Basically, it tells Google, it tells all of the platforms, Yelp and everything, that this is the legitimate company. They're trusted. And in turn, there's a lot of collaborations with blogs and bigger software companies wanting to put their blogs on our blogs, or write blurbs, or do interviews. I mean, it ties into everything. So that was the best thing that I did. I hired an SEO person. That person, when I hired him, I knew that was not going to get me an ROI, at least in the beginning. It was going to get me an ROI eventually, which in my head was a year or 2. So there was a lot of different things that I still had to do, which was still go out to door, still, I did very little cold calling because I just never felt comfortable over the phone. But, still going door to door, still reaching out to companies, writing handwritten newsletters, a lot of different things, networking with, construction sites and different things. So that was still vital, because SEO was not a immediate return.
When did you start seeing some sort of return on investment? Like you said, about a year?
About a year. 2019, we started seeing a lot more local. And then actually this SEO person knew how to run somewhat Google ads. So we were kind of tying a little bit of Google ads to it, and not much, like maybe $250 a month, $500 max. If I remember, maybe $250. But that helped a little bit with just moving it up, because Google likes that. Obviously, you spend money, they love it. So that kind of helped out a lot. So there was definitely for a year is a really good ROI to start seeing on investment, because we still have clients from 2019 that were from SEO organic strategies that we still have today.
Amazing.
So So you got to look at the long-term game. And back to the 2018 hiring the SEO person, my brain went to, I'm going to be here long-term. And you have to have that mindset. If you don't, then don't do that. Do something else where you could get quick money, I guess. But my strategy was, I'm going to be here for years to come. So I need to set the foundation correctly and build from there. That made it a lot easier. So yeah, it was like a year.
I love that, man. And so, yeah, you've encouraged me and helped me do that for my business down here in Florida. In Arkansas, I don't know what happened. It was an accident. Somebody called me one day and I said, sure, go ahead and do it. And the dude did something and it started going crazy for a little while. I looked up, we're paying $400 or $500 a month. I'm like, oh snap, bro, I gotta turn this off. And that kept us doing okay in Arkansas. But down here in Florida, I don't know who that guy is. I don't know where to go exactly. But you recommended some things for me to start doing, and so I started doing that. As far as like citations and stuff too, what exactly is citations for the people who don't know what a citation is?
Like local citations, Yelp, Yahoo.com, setting up your company, putting your address in, just letting the algorithm know that you have all these citations, local citations, and it shows legitimacy to the algorithm to rank if you're ranking in page 4, 5, or 6, or you're not even found on Google, this helps get it higher. And it's free. You just got to spend time doing it.
Absolutely.
I think over the last 7 years, I just talked to my SEO team. I have 2 citation list building. They're called staff members that that's all they do all day for 8 hours a day. They're just list building. We have about 34,000 citations.
Amazing.
But the downside of that long term, a lot of them, they go to spam, they'll delete, so you have to correct that because that'll affect your website ranking as well. So it's great to have a lot, but you also got to manage them. So that's why you have link builders and SEO people and on-site and all this. There's many different
and these are VAs doing that for you,
right? All VAs.
Yep. Got it. Yeah, see, that's amazing, man. Like even that right there, I think that may need to be something I'll just go ahead and do, because I ended up doing it myself just to figure out like, how do I do this or what is it? I guess this.
And you could.
Yeah, it's been about, well, we don't got that many, not even a fraction.
Right. Well, this is 7 years.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. And now I'm starting, and I'm like, okay, now that I kind of know what I'm doing or know what it looks like, I know what websites to use, and then where to get your business listed on as far as directories. I can just, I guess, train a VA to help us do that too. But I guess I started mine probably a month ago now, and I'm already starting to see some return. Like I'm starting to get phone calls like, oh, I see. Or I'm getting the verification phone calls where they'll call me and say, hey, we need to verify. Like, are you this company? Are you the owner? Is this the right number? Is this the right address? I'm like, I see what this is. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Boom. Just like that. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And now as I look my company up out here, I'm starting to see our name. I can go down a list now and I see, this website, that website.
Moving.
Perfect, man. This is great. This is great right here, man.
You start adding blogs to your website with keywords, and then eventually backlinking. That thing will start. You start getting calls all the time.
Oh man, see, I got to do that too, man. The blogs, we hadn't tapped in there yet, but that's another thing. Okay, this is cool, man, and this is about building your internet presence or your web presence so you can be discovered.
Let me add this piece, because I know people are going to hear this. Blogs is like a big popular thing now where everybody's putting in blogs. Google just passed an update in January where it's banning, and it's not, you won't know that it's banning, but it's basically penalizing your website for having AI generated content. So if you're on Chat GPT and you're like, hey, create me a blog for this, and then you just post that on your website, you are hurting your website. So I would definitely, if you're doing it on your own, it's better to just write it out yourself or have AI write it, and then you edit it to make sure that it doesn't have anything that can track. Because I don't know if most people know that if you copy and paste your Chat GPT copy the algorithm can go back into Chat GPT and show that it wrote it. It'll say, yeah, I wrote that. So there's a lot of different things. So you have to either write yourself or have Chat write it, and you edit it to your specific,
absolutely,
language or variation thereof.
Your tone, your style. Here's the thing, man. Let's go here real quick. Okay. Here's the thing about it, man. As much as I was just talking to the IT, the IT lady that's in that building, we sitting there talking for a minute, and she's a marketing lady or something like that. Her husband owns the IT service, and so we're just standing there talking. And I asked her, like, okay, y'all being in the IT field, what do you feel about this AI stuff? And she told me, from all these years of being a marketer, she said she feels like AI is somewhat crippling people because they're not thinking anymore. They're just taking the AI and they're just, using that exactly. And I said, I feel you on that, but it can kind of take away your authenticity as far as, like, I say to myself, okay, I'll have ChatGPT write something for me, but I have to go tweak it because I don't talk like that. Like, I gotta tweak it. I gotta make it. So if you would at least do that, I think that'll be, anybody out there listening, like, that's the strategy. Because here's the thing I like to think about. I want to write like how I speak, if that makes sense. Like,
you can make Chat GPT do that, by the way.
Oh, I guess you're right about that too. I've been training mine. Like, hey, I don't use that word. I wouldn't say that. Talk like, this is my tone. Say this. So anyway, and you just tweak it however, to make it you. So to the other VAs, right? So you got the SEO, you got the people helping you with the citations and all that good stuff. What other VAs you looking at?
It was actually a blogger. She was with me up until December of last year. She moved on, and we brought in new team members. She was writing blogs. This was before chat. And our blogs were killer. We would look at all the rankings and everything and the traffic. I mean, her blogs are still getting traffic all over Europe and overseas and everywhere. People are coming. I think the blog was how to get urine out of your carpet. That blog is like viral worldwide. I mean, if people are searching that on Google and they're like seeing our website and they're from Europe or wherever around the world. To the point where we had to add Google AdSense to our website because we're just getting traffic, and like, well, click on an ad,
Yeah. So this is like a ranked video, right? Like, I realized, like, okay, just to kind of put this into my perspective, how I'm looking at this, basically, like, you get a video, or so like everything you need for post-construction cleaning or something like that. That video I put out. That's a ranked video. Basically, and it's like the first one that pops up if you type that in, by the way. I was like, I own that. So
that's nice.
What you're saying is that particular phrase, how to get urine out of carpet, like, your website blog owns that. That's the first one popping up, basically. Okay, so how do you is it just as simple as you write it and you put the blog on your, like, how do you even, I guess I don't understand.
Put it on the website? Put it on the website, you mean?
Like, you just write it into the website?
No. So there's so if you go on the backside of your website, so if you have WordPress or whatever site you have, you can literally, I mean, so my team uses Microsoft Word. They'll write it all out. They'll research it. So her specific strategy was 6 hours of research, one blog. So she would this is before chat and all that stuff. Like, we would actually research and, go through the line. So we were providing really good value. I don't know where I got to see the metrics now with, AI and all that stuff. Probably not as good, but so we would do 6 hours of research, write the blog on a Microsoft Word document. And then from there, you copy it onto the backside of your website on the blog section. And then you add the tagline, pictures. So we would definitely put pictures. We have, and then you publish it. And then when you publish it, you can set the date that you want to publish it. It's kind of the same thing as like YouTube and videos and stuff like that. It's the exact same thing, but just on your website.
You got my mind spinning right now, bro. Cause I do got a lot of stuff. I could probably take the transcript and tailor it to where, because, well, here's the thing. A lot of my content is like cleaning business owner based, but I guess it still could work
Doesn't
for.
matter.
Got it. As long as the
Matter.
blog is provide value. Got it. That's good.
So that's one thing I tell people all the time. Don't fall in love with it being to your client, your janitorial client, right? That's your avatar. That's who you want to sell to. But you'll go on my website now and there's a blog about plumbing. And that plumbing blog, I'll tell you, what's the software that has the, not Aspire. There's another software, a big company that's a big software. I was going to name it, but I can't think of it at the top of my head. They reached out to backlink to that blog.
Amazing.
So just off of, because this is a business in and of itself. So the whole blogging and SEO is a business in and of itself. It's separate, right? You have Google AdSense. You can make money from people, just traffic coming to your website. But it also provides value, because guess what? The person that is more than likely going to hire your services are probably either office managers if you're doing offices. If you're doing manufacturing or any commercial buildings, it's a facilities person. Medical would be a medical practice person or practice manager. Well, guess what? They all have toilets.
Right.
And they're all going to need somebody to go service whatever that area is. Why is your company not providing that value? So you want to kind of wrap it all. So our blogs are about everything. I mean, generally cleaning, but if you're in HVAC, we have HVAC blogs, we have plumbing, we have electrical. I mean, you go down the line.
Basically facilities management type stuff. Oh, anything that's good, man. That's good. Okay. That's good to know. And the purpose of this, basically, Google loves to see that people are going to your website. So they're going to prioritize you. That's basically what this boils down to.
Right. And obviously the bounce rate, now it comes into like images, and making sure that people can stay on your site is even better.
Okay.
Because the longer they're staying on your site, right, it helps, especially if you have AdSense on your site. There's just a lot of different things. So yeah, it's great.
Okay. Cool, man. Okay, so we got somebody for that as well, and that was your marketing blogger. Okay.
Yeah.
And now
then we got a marketing assistant from there. So that marketing assistant, they did all of our automations. So if you go on our website and you submit a ticket to get a quotation, that triggered an automation. At the time, I think it was Monday.com or HubSpot. I'm not sure which one it was. But then it'll trigger an automation for an email, and then it sent it to me to my calendar and my availability. And then it would send them an email saying, hey, we'll be in touch with you shortly. And then I would go ahead and either call, and if they don't answer, I would email and say, hey, we have available this date, this time for a walkthrough. And then once we provided that walkthrough, submitted the proposal, then there's a 2-week email sequence, a follow-up email the first week, then a second follow-up email on the second week, and then the third week it died out. So then what we would do from there is actually call. So we didn't want to bombard them with emails. If they weren't answering, then we would just call them. And then usually they would say, yeah, we went with someone else, or, obviously if they went with us, they called us. But that was the next person. So she created all of our email sequences, automations, Jot forms, Google forms, everything we needed internally, externally, and also ran Google Ads as well.
Good. Okay, cool. So that's your marketing assistant. And are you getting like separate different email addresses for them as well? Or
Yep. So we use G Suite. G Suite is our emails and everything, Google Drive. everything just goes through there. So I would set them up with separate emails. The only ones right now, the only ones that have the same email would be our link builders, because they outreach to other companies to try and link to back our page. So we just keep that as one email. And they're only doing like citations and stuff. So they just have one email, but everybody else generally has their own email.
Cool.
G Suite.
Okay, sounds good. And so sounds like you got your marketing, all your marketing and all your internet presence stuff is being covered with those alone, those 3 or 4 people alone. And now.
Yep. And we also have cold callers as well.
Cold callers. Got it. Okay.
And a social media manager.
And so amazing. And these people basically, like, this is their one task they focus on. Like, they focus on just this. Got it. And all day.
All day, 8 hours a day. Some of them are part-time, but most of them are full-time. So we got 2 link builders full-time. That's all they do all day. I have an SEO manager that oversees them. She's working all day. Our social media manager, our marketing manager, they're there. And then cold callers, we have 2 cold callers. So they're making calls all day. They make about 250 per 4 hours. So they'd make about 500 calls every 4 hours.
Nice, man. Oh, yeah. Goodness. That's what's up. Okay. So, okay. How do you oversee? Yeah. How do you manage them? How do you make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing? What kind of KPIs, or I guess, and by the way, when we say KPI, that's key performance indicators. Got it. How are we tracking that?
So generally they do a report at the end of the day. So we have an end of week report. And they fill that out. And then we also have a form where it's, what are you working on next week? And then we compare and contrast, where's the progress? And then we also use, punch-in systems. So we know when they're working, so then we kind of audit it on a weekly basis, where it's like, okay, this is what you said you were working on. This is where you got to at the end of the week. And then we track that and we keep an eye on. We have an HR manager that tracks all of that, generates a KPI for them, and that's their success metric. So if they ever deviate from it, there's bonuses and different incentives. And then there's also repercussions when you don't, write-ups and so on and so forth.
Perfect, man. Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense right there. Thank you for breaking this down too, man, by the way.
We utilize them because I don't know all. So if, like, for everybody watching, just context, I don't know 100% of what these are all different things. You're not going to know everything, but you know a little bit, and you know you need it. So you know enough to get it started. But then you utilize their skills and expertise to create their own KPIs, their own metrics, and all you do is just monitor it going closely, which we have an HR manager.
Yeah. Oh, bro, you just reminded me of something I just heard. Okay. We are the generals of our business. This guy said that he was talking to this military general, high-level military general. And I guess he asked him something like, what gets you to this level of this high-ranking general in the, whatever military branch? And he said, well, here's the thing. Me being a general is exactly what it says. I have general knowledge about every specific department or whatever.
Oh, that's good.
And he said, I'm a specialist in neither one of them. So we get specialists to focus on these, and I'm the general, where I know I have a general knowledge of everything they do. They specialize. I said, bro, I'm a general. I want to be a general, right? I want to learn.
That's what I am.
Exactly. And that's what you're the general. You're the person that's, overseeing, and they absolutely should know more. That's what they're hired for. Amazing point right there, bro. Yeah. Anyway, you just took me back there. I heard that and thought that was amazing.
Oh, that's perfect, because that's exactly what we are. So most of my day entails of, if I'm not doing a walkthrough, I'm basically in meetings, and I'm like this with my HR people, tracking KPIs, where are we, how people are doing. And then for, we're obviously talking to business owners, right? So then we look at how good are these people doing? Do we need to replace them? Do we need to cut back? Do we need to, find somebody better? Do we need to add on and compare and see who's not doing so good and who's doing better, and so on and so forth. So we've done all those types of strategies to make sure we're kind of operating efficiently, because for years, and I'll tell you guys this, you will be operating completely wrong. But the one thing I will say about operating wrong is better to do something than to do nothing. So even if you don't know how to hire, how to bring in, what they need to do, or, are they doing their job? Are they not? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're kind of, but they're doing something that's moving you forward, right? Unless you're kind of geeked out and you're like, no, I'm going to run this as efficient as I possibly can. I mean, you could do that too. You kind of bring in everybody, HR, the whole 9 yards. Then it'll run more efficiently. But even in the beginning, just putting these pieces in place will move your business forward. May not necessarily see it immediately, but it'll start to streamline things, and you have your stuff in order. And a lot of this stuff is a selling point, because when you tell your clients, yeah, we have this, we have a team, we have a bookkeeper, we have this, we have that, they're impressed. They're not just talking to a one-man show.
Mm-hmm. This is good, man. So let's talk about this HR person though. Where's this person in place?
So the way I look at it is I have two teams. So I have my local team, and then I have my virtual assistant team. So I have, I think 11 virtual assistants. We just hired 2 of them last week. We have 11 virtual assistants, and then we have, with one of them being HR, and then we have over 50 cleaners and operation managers, area supervisors, and all that stuff. And then we have a local HR person. She's a office manager / HR. So she does our compliance stuff and everything like that. So I have 2 really. Now the HR for my virtual assistants, she's really HR for the entire company, because she makes sure our supervisors have everything they need, trainings, everything like that, videos, everything they need. She makes sure she has. She actually runs both our advertising agency as well. So she does a lot of work for us, because we have another 10 people there. So that right there, she manages all of them. She creates job descriptions, scope of work, KPIs. She does incentive plans. So when people are doing a great job, they're above and beyond. She's doing performance improvement plans for the people that are not doing so good. She's coming up with ideas on how to be more efficient. So we're in the process of hiring a virtual assistant, which this is really cool. I think the audience would like this. So our operations manager is constantly running around in our company truck. So a lot of his job is on the phone and on site, putting out fires, fixing things, making sure every job is situated. So she actually came up, this is not my idea, so shout out to my HR. She said, let's hire a virtual assistant for him to document everything he's doing, to put in a process and a system to integrate them to be able to manage clients, staff, and organize his calendar. I was like, that's big, right? Because we think about our operations manager as sitting behind the desk and also going out on the field, right? This just kind of tied it in where it's like, oh, we could have the best of both worlds while he's running around here, going here, because some of our locations are an hour away, right? So there's an hour of drive time that's kind of wasted. But in that hour of drive time, he's going to be in meetings with the VA and getting things done, just communicating with that person. So just little things like that, just so efficient and so organized, really. So they do a lot.
Man, that's good right there, man. That's amazing. Because when I think about every single level, it will take things off of his plate, like me being that guy for us right now. I understand the feeling.
Listen,
and the transition has happened. Like I've been putting together, what do you call it? Standard operating procedures, documentations for every single building we have. Like this building,
OSHA documents.
yeah, they're very specific here about this thing, all of that stuff. But yeah, taking it off his plate like that, man, that's
They will
what's
handle
up.
all of that. And
Got
they
it.
would follow up with the client and make sure all those specifications and everything they need verifying, so you don't have to necessarily do it. So this is huge, even in your situation where it's like they can take off and offload a lot. And for people, your audience is getting some massive value right now because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, this is gold. I don't know how I did it.
Absolutely, man.
So it's bringing back memories. But for people to understand, so I think our biggest clients, like 40, 50 grand, I think it is a month. I think I've said this plenty of times. Our VAs are in contact with that client. So this is not they're out in a different country, they're not going to be communicating with my client. Let me tell you, most of our VAs are in contact with our client. If we need to contact our client, our cold callers are calling them and setting up a meeting. If there's billing issues, our bookkeepers are reaching out via email or phone call to our clients. I mean, there's not a position right now that doesn't, outside of SEO, that doesn't really talk to our clients. Everything is completely separate from me. I'm the guy that kind of goes in and it's mainly in billing. If they're late, I'm like, hey, you guys got to pay or we're out. Right. That's really what I do. And and almost always it's not even coming from me, but them using my email because it just shows more authority when the owner kind of reaches out. Right. Because you will get a lot of that. So your VAs will take so much, and it's uncomfortable in the beginning to offload a lot of that stuff, but there might be some trial and error, and definitely hire somebody who can speak perfect English and really good stuff. But I mean, they do everything for me, man. I'm very hands off,
bro. Okay, so you know what? Like you may see it as you speaking, but I think because what I was gonna say is like my mind is shifting literally in the moment. I think I told you before that for some reason, I don't know why that always felt uncomfortable for me, but it was just like me turning over a building to a new cleaner. Like when I was going through that phase of like, man, I don't know if they'll do it as good as me. And I finally got to a point where it's like, all right, whatever. I have to find a good person, with decent core values, as best as possible. I judge them however I can, bring them in, help us out. And, the world is not over. Everything's okay still. Okay, this can work. And then I got through that phase. And now I'm at this phase where, what you're saying, actually communicating with the client too. Man, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's possible.
That's big.
Okay, man. Anyway, yeah, bro. This is gold. This is great.
Yeah. They can do pretty much anything. They'll offload so much of your mundane task. And a lot of this in your situation, this would actually open you up to be 5 days a week out on the field, getting customers.
Yeah.
And I'll put this one out there as well. Your VA is not going to make your business look bad. Your cleaners more than likely will. Because, and I think all of us can attest to this. You've hired a cleaner who could care less about actually cleaning the facility, but they just want their check. So they're going in constantly. They're not really cleaning the bathroom the way they need to. They might miss a trash or two, and they don't care. They don't care. We've all hired those people. So those people will more than likely make your business look bad. than a virtual assistant would. And then to double down on that, that person may, not clean the bathroom, not do any of that stuff. But more importantly, if you have a good relationship with that client is not going to hold you accountable to that. They're going to hold you accountable if you fired them or you reprimanded them. That's where the client starts to. So I've had multiple accounts. I mean, I don't know how many, we have too many to count, that we've had more than 5 years. We still have them. We've gone through people, even if they've been really, really good, and we've had really good cleaners that have been with us for years. There gets to a point in that account where that person knows it all too well, where they're missing things now. Right. And the client's like, hey, let's probably try to switch them out. They've been here for way too long and they're missing things. Right. So we've had those kind of communication, that kind of communication with our clients, where it's like, they're not holding us accountable to things that they're missing, because they know, right? We're doing what we can. We can't send a supervisor there every night, right? That's just not feasible. So they're like, hey, we've been noticing things. You've been noticing things. We see it in our KPIs, in our reports. Let's probably move away from it. Okay, great. We'll switch it out, bring somebody new. And then the conversations are completely different. In the beginning, when we didn't have everything in place, the conversation is like, you guys got to get better. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it's like, you're kind of like, you got to do a better job. You got to clean this. You got to make sure you're doing the checklist and so on and so forth. But as you're building relationships by communicating, all of this is by communicating. That's why I allow virtual assistants to communicate with our clients, follow up with them, call them, do everything, because the more people that can touch our client, the better our relationship is. I know for a fact right now that there's a lot of people watching this that have a client that hasn't complained or done anything and hasn't reached out to you, and you probably had them for a year or two and you haven't followed up with them. That's bad. Right. I used to think like, they're not talking to me. Great. We're doing great. That is bad. That's not a partnership. We're in the business to be a partner with somebody. We're not in the business for you to set it and forget it. So that was a shift. So when I brought in all our virtual assistants, you got to talk to the client. If you feel uncomfortable, do it anyways. So it's big.
Bro, okay, this is good, because yes, when you said that about the client talking to you, and it was like, and like, hey, we've been noticing this. Maybe it's time for somebody. Y'all are in partnership where we're in this together. It's like, it's not me against you. It's like, hey, the cleaner is not performing well, which what we know y'all can do. They're not performing. I love that. Just like the situation I went through where something came up missing. This lady ended up bringing somebody with her. He ended up stealing something. Well, the next day I'm on the phone with here's the thing. I had to let them go because I knew, like you're saying, hey, you're not trying to, but this would tarnish my relationship, my partnership with the client. Hey, sorry, but y'all have to go, because it's us in this together. And I let the client know, hey, just let you know, we let them go. And they're like, okay, cool, that's good. We'll just need to make sure the code is changed and all that good stuff. And it happens. But yeah, just make sure your next owner knows.
An offboard process.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So what's that?
Everyone should have an offboarding process.
Got you.
Where it's like, if you're going to eliminate an employee, keys, code, you should be following up with the company. If they have a key card or something, all that should be in place. An email should be going to the client. Here's your key card. Let's probably, all the bigger accounts that we have are just a key card. So, I mean, there's no real codes. It's just everything gives you access. So it just depends on what the job is. But if it's a smaller, where you actually have a key to open up a door, you need to have an offboard process, and you should be reaching out to the client, letting them know this person is off. this is the keys for them. Or if you have keys, physical keys, you give it to the new cleaner. So we've given it to them. This is the new person. This is their name, and kind of have that in place. So that's something a virtual assistant can do as well.
Absolutely. That's great right there. And then, yeah, your client
On
knows,
and
like,
offboarding.
right. Got it. And that lets your client know, like, okay, boom, they're serious. They care about our facility. You know, they boom, we're good. And so that worked out really smoothly. And that let me know, like, oh man, they actually look at us like a partner too, for real. And they want us to go and handle that. Like, hey, y'all gonna handle that? And if we didn't, I don't know.
Then you're the problem.
Right.
Right.
You know, they'll be like, oh, I see here. Yeah.
But the minute you take care of it, this is what we're in partnership for.
Exactly.
You know, we're hiring adults. We're not hiring children, right?
Right.
We can't control them.
Right. Great point. And that's the same thing that they're looking at us just like that too. Like, hey, we're hiring this cleaning service to be a partner with us. You want to be professional and like make that happen.
Right.
So anyway, man, it's a ever going process, man. That's what I've been learning. And here's the thing too. I love how things happen in real, well, the standard operating procedures kind of happen in real time. You know, when you're first starting, you know, when something happens, you're like, okay, like immediately go and document this process. Like what happened and how do we solve this? And then you document that and say, okay, when this happens, this is what we'll do next time, or this is how we solved it. And so that's what we've been doing. And so that's great, man.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And now moving on to, we went through all your other VAs. Who else? Who we missing now, man? Like, man.
So social media VA. So she does all of our just pictures or videos or anything like that. Our team sends her, you know, while we're working or doing different things. So she'll send updates. Now, I want to emphasize the social media thing. There's probably people in the comments or people out there watching that'll actually have figured it out, and I would love to speak to them if so. I haven't mastered the social media, generating it into sales, but this is what I do know off of my marketing brain, that posting consistently on social media, it doesn't necessarily get me clients, but what it does get me is validation. So when we're posting, if somebody's on Google, they're going to see our GMB post. Then they'll probably go to Facebook and see, oh, they haven't posted since 2021. Are they still in business? I did this with a power washing company for my house the other day. I was like, oh, I need a power wash company. I like to go to like page 6 and 7 because you're going to get the best deals. The page number 1, they're paying a lot of money to be up there on Google. So I go to 6 or 7 because it's the cheapest, right? So I go to 6 or 7, but then I go on Facebook and I'm like, they haven't posted since 2019. Are they still in business? And my brain automatically doesn't want to call them, right? So when people are on Google, I look at it and I'm like, okay, what does my brain tell me? When they go to my Facebook, they saw I posted today.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, this company's still in business. They're doing, so it's more validation than it is client generating. And that's how I view it. So that's why we invest into having somebody to make sure that our social media is up to date, more so than anything. But I know that there's a lot of people, especially in the residential market, they're generating organic strategies on social media. That'd be awesome if I can figure that out. But that's a game I haven't started figuring out. I'm just posting just to make sure people know we're here, we're live, and, you know, we're ready to work.
Man, that's a great point. Even something as simple as an update. Like if you got a Facebook page out there and you hadn't posted since 2015 or 20 whatever, you know, 2021, definitely just update your people, at least say, hey, we're still here. We got some spring deals, whatever. That's good. You got me thinking, when's the last time I posted? Right now, you got me thinking that, man. I'm about to post today, bro. I'm about to post today.
I post every day. One day, one time a week.
See, that's the thing. You got somebody in place for that. That's something else I need to look at. In fact, yeah, bro, all these really, because that's a good point. You saying that got me thinking like, yeah, bro, if you see that they hadn't posted in however long, you're thinking, oh, they're not even doing this anymore. So Great,
Right.
great point.
Especially Google GMB. GMB more specifically is not necessarily for that part, but GMB is for the algorithm. The algorithm picks up that you're posting consistently and it wants to push that, because the longer you're on Google, the better it is. So if you're posting on GMB, the algorithm's going to push you up higher as well. So that's really good.
I like that.
Who else do I have? So social media, marketing, cold callers, HR. Yeah, I think that's pretty much wraps up our team. Oh, bookkeepers. We have bookkeepers. So we have 2 bookkeepers on staff. They're doing accounts receivables, not accounts payable. We don't do accounts payable. We do payroll, so they handle all the payroll. So all the hours that everybody's punching in and all of the headaches to make sure that people are getting paid, that's handled by our bookkeepers. Everything QuickBooks, that's our accounting software. They prepare all the reports, keep everything up to date for our accountant. So whenever they need anything, he just emails them directly. I don't know anything about accounting. I just go in and I check who owes me money.
Right.
And just like, what's going on with that? What's going on with that? So for people to, especially how we've been able to build a pretty big business, a lot of that stuff I don't really know. I just hire the experts. That's all I
Absolutely.
do. I'm just in touch. I have an accountant that deals with them directly, and they know how to handle the QuickBooks and all the stuff. I have all my credit cards and everything tied into it. So it's a pretty smooth machine. I just deal with the bank account. That's all I do. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much our team at this point. Oh, we do have 2 link builders that I did mention as well. And the reason we have 2 is because we have so many citations and so many lists and outreach. One person, it would take 3 months to do it. That's just not efficient. So we have 2 to try and minimize it.
Absolutely.
And continue to grow.
Man, that's gold right there, man. And I'm with you on that too, with the accountant stuff. Like my accountant, he has access to my QuickBooks and stuff, and like, hey, bro, do what you got to do. Because I wouldn't necessarily know how to deal with all that. So that's a good point right there, man. That's awesome. Speaking of gold,
I had just to that point, when we were smaller, I would have our accountant do all of our books. Our accountant did everything. Once we started getting bigger, the accountant fees start to get more expensive. So when it got to the point where I can pay a virtual assistant to do it, that's when I transitioned to a virtual assistant, because virtual assistants are very loyal. They'll stick with you long term. So it's something you can build off of. Your accountant can always be there, but their fees get more expensive as your business starts to grow. They start seeing a lot more money coming in. It's like, okay, now you can pay $2,000 a month, $3,000, it could get crazy. So when you hire a VA, you can save a lot of money on that front. So I had our bookkeeper, our accountant do it until we were able to bring in our bookkeepers. And that's a good benchmark for people to know when to hire. It's kind of when you start feeling capped or you don't know what you're doing and the prices tend to get more expensive. Those are kind of like my indicators where it's like, all right, we got to start bringing somebody in.
And you essentially, you'll go on to whatever the website is, and you're going to search this term, looking for bookkeeper or looking for social media marketing person. That's what you're doing. And then you interview a few of them and you figure out which one is which.
Yep. So we create a JD, a job description. Then basically we look now in the position we're in now, we look for holes in our system. And once we find holes, then we start to fill those holes. Prior, what I would do is I hired SEO because I knew it was a long-term strategy. So that was the first thing I did. But then after that, it's like, who is the person I need to hire to generate revenue quickly? Who can help me make money? Because at the end of the day, the way you get paid is by bringing in revenue, right? So who's the first person? So marketing assistant was one. They know how to do Google ads. They know how to do cold outreach. scraping data and emails and all this stuff to put into an email sequence, and then follow-ups and all of this stuff, which all led to being able to bring in people or leads. So that was kind of like my thought process. And then I didn't bring everybody in. This was over the years. So people have been with me for years. I don't bring all those pieces in at once, because most businesses, if you're not doing a few $1 million a year, you're probably not going to need all that. That might be overkill, right? But in the beginning, you want to just bring in people that you know is going to be able to generate revenue for you. All the rest could be left for later.
Got it. So for sure, like if the first person you were looking to get, say, you need somebody for SEO, boom, right away. Like I want somebody for that straight away. What are we looking at, like payment wise? Say we want somebody part-time to help us out SEO. Like
so part-time SEO. So this was back in 2018. So back then it was a little bit cheaper. It's still pretty efficient. So I'll kind of break down a little bit of pricing with specifically Filipinos. I mean, you can hire people from Europe or even Mexico or South America. I like to hire Filipinos. One, they're really smart. They speak English as a native language. Well, they speak their language, but they speak very good English. And then and minimum wage there is really, really low. So just for reference, I think don't quote me on this because I could be wrong, but I think it's $350 is like minimum wage in some areas. And then other areas could get as low as $125 a month in pay for these people. And this is working full time.
Wow.
So, I mean, you're talking very low wages over there. So back in 2018, when I hired my SEO, I hired him part-time at $500 a month.
Nice.
So I was $500 a month, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's all you're doing every single day. So if you're looking for full-time, could be really, it depends. I was overpaying just because I value people, and I appreciate what they do. And as long as they can stay with me long term, then I'm fine with it. But if you're looking for somebody really, really good, you're probably going to pay like $1,200 full time. So $600 part time, maybe $700, depending on incentives and different things that you do. You could even get somebody for $250. It just depends on their skill levels. If you're going to get somebody that's really, really skilled, and by that, I mean, can do multiple things. Remember, SEO is a broad term, but there's on-site, there's off-site, there's site building. There's a whole lot of different things that it involves. Now, if you get one person that kind of knows all of it, they're going to want more money, right? Because those are different jobs. But if you just need somebody, for blogs, right? Well, then there you go. It's just blogs, and you can pay them what you want to pay them, or what they're willing to take. So generally, I tend to overpay because I'm not taking advantage of them. But I also look at it like, okay, if I hired an SEO team over here, how much is it going to cost me?
Right.
And that's like $1,500. So if it's $1,500, what's $500? Right. It's a no-brainer. And it's in-house. I have more control. It's not just a generated report. It's a report and a person. And we can build off of that, hire more people, turn them into full-time, so on and so forth. So,
man, this was great, man.
And also another little note, if you're interested in whatever that position is, you can go on Chat GPT and ask what are going rates for that specific virtual assistant. And it'll throw out whatever it is that it thinks, and that can be a big help as well.
That's perfect, man. That's absolutely perfect. I know for sure. Like I got a page full of notes right here that I for sure am going to be implementing, because that's one thing we were supposed to be getting into, man. This VA stuff. Thank you, bro. For real.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this with everybody, because I know that's gonna help. Any parting words for the audience?
Yeah, so I would just say, just stick with it. The biggest thing for me was seeing the mountain to climb and not wanting to climb it, or getting so demotivated from it where it's like it kind of like cripples you and you don't want to move. Listen, in the beginning, I'll give you some parting words. In the beginning, you make a lot more money than at scale. And by that, I mean margins, right? Because at scale, you're going to make a lot more money, but the margin is going to be a lot smaller because you need a bigger team. So right now, where you are is the best position to be in to continue to grow, because it's going to be the most money you're going to make. So don't fall in love with the ending, fall in love with the process. It says, find the joy in the journey behind you. That is where you're actually enjoying and reaping the fruits of your labor. At the end comes a lot of nonsense, possibly. I don't know. We're not going to get there, and I don't think we'll ever get there. But don't look at the mountain to climb. Just continue to take one step at a time. And every day will be a journey, a venture, a headache, and a happy place. So stick to it and keep going.
I love that, man. Thank you, bro.